Hello YouTube. Once again, we're going to find out what's in the box. This particular very large box has shipped in from QML and I believe contains my Black Rose Wars Wave 2 content. It is a very, very large box and we will see what's inside. For those that don't know, Black Rose Wars is a bit of a miniature heavy, little bit of a combatant, arena combat type game. A little bit of programming in there. There was some definite controversy with this one when they asked everyone to pitch in more for shipping after the campaign had already closed, right before this Wave 2 shipped. I did kick it in. It's not for everybody. But I did. I know some cards got reprinted as well. This one is just a promo card sitting right on top. I know with this Wave 2 they corrected some errata with the first one, so some things got reprinted. Did get some miniatures here. Came with some of the rooms. Let's see what's inside here. There's a few of these blister packs. I'm only going to open one, maybe two of them. We'll see kind of what they look like. Really want to get into the heart of this content. Yeah, this is from Ludas Magnus, is the creators, the studios that did this one. What do we have here? We have an extra room tile. The Draco room tile. And these are dual layer. If you've played those, they're another dual layer boards to hold the destruction cubes. Draco the Familiar. I'm assuming this is instructions for just what to do. Yeah, there's an instruction book here in several languages on exactly how to play it, as well as the appropriate cards. This is a quasi-programming game where you lay out ahead of time cards like this, depending on which way you're going to face. This is a Guardian card, and these are your programming cards, and you can program them one way or the other. Somewhere on here I thought I saw a programming card. Maybe not on here. These might all be familiars. Yeah, some sort of Guardians. Okay, yeah, and these cards came in each of the different languages, all packaged in one box there. I was starting to get concerned. I definitely do not know how to speak any foreign languages. English is all I have. And here are your minis. Pull one out here. And we'll see if we can get this to come up and in focus. Let me mess with some of the settings on the camera, see if we get this to focus in a little bit. There we go. Again, this is a plastic heavy game. This looks like it's designed to sit right around the base of your character and travel with your character. Alright, let's see what else we have here. It does appear all three of the ones that were in this box here are just slightly different poses of the same, I'll get my thumb out of the way there, slightly different poses of the same little dragon. I'm going to assume we get very similar content in these. Yeah, we have a griffin. And again, you can see I'll try to get some sort of shot of those for you there. Let's go up to the close-up view here so you can see it a little tighter. You can see the griffins in there. The Hydra. 3 Hydra. As well as... Cerberus, the Hellhound. 3 of those as well. Alright, let's dig in a little deeper into this box, see what else we have in here. Some sort of tile for Draco, looks like it fell out of. And finally, the Inferno expansion. Try to push this back so we have a little more space here. Let me back the camera up a bit. The Inferno expansion. Let's have that upside down. Again, this isn't just an expansion to the base game. Base game is required. Let's go ahead and tear this box open and see what is in here. Just a ton of content in this box. That investment finally paying off and all arriving is always a good feeling. Game I've not gotten to the table very much, especially since the shutdown. My core group stuck with co-op games. But hopefully as things start to lighten up, I'll see some more people and we'll get some more of these games back on the table here. Push that out of the way a bit. Very tight fit. Takes up so much table space. So much table space. Alright, another tracker board. It looks very similar to the tracker board for the Black Rose. The instructions on how to play, I'm sure. Yep. These particular ones appear to be in French. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. I'm sure someone will correct me if I am. Definitely not English. What about this one here? This one is in English. Exactly what to do with all the different new game modes. But here's the pretty part. Let me see if I can angle this down just a little bit, get a better look at it. It is all the lovely miniatures. We'll save him for a minute. Let's start with some of these smaller ones here. I do know Wave 1, the miniatures were all of just excellent quality. A lot of the painters really loved them. A lot of detail. A lot of small things to paint if you like that. I don't see any heavy mold lines jumping out at me. I'm sure there's a few in there always are, but overall pretty good there. There's a whole bunch of those in the box. We got a few of these guys up here. Again, the quality here is just wonderful. So I know Ludas caught a lot of flack over that last minute asking for money. But right now this all looks pretty good. A lot of detail on the little wheels of death there. And you can even see just a well sculpted face. So far the random sampling has not revealed any major flaws with any of these minis. No major glue lines to be redone. Definitely something any game designer should be taking a look at is these minis right here. They're all just beautifully done. Beautifully done. I'm trying to keep this in focus. Not always the simplest thing to do. And of course we got to pull the big guy out of the center of the box here and take a good look. Just a ton of detail. And you can see just using my hand as for scale there. It's a very, very large miniature. I wish I was a more skilled painter and could do these justice. I may give them a go though. I know I've got some Zombicide stuff showing up soon that I may paint instead, but these are just gorgeous figures. Alright, I think there's some other layers under here based on the size of this box. Yes, there are. We have, looks like 2 more layers. Nope, I was incorrect. Just one. One very heavy layer. Hoping there's some spare room in this box for sleeves. I'm not very confident of that though. And these were those double cards I was speaking of earlier. When you play them face down, facing one way or the other, depending on which one you want to play. And it does appear, like they've mixed the language sets, so you get the both languages. Standard small cards. The quality, I'm sure, is about just like the base game, but let's take a quick look here. Yeah, pretty well standard. Back this camera up a little bit. A little flimsy. About like the base game quality, though. The base game sleeves, though, are gorgeous if you haven't seen them. I know I got enough to cover the expansions as well. They have a solid background. They're not designed for these cards, though. If I recall, I think I had to get some Euro sleeves for these, some Euro mini sleeves. But for the larger cards, like this guy here, I have sleeves for those from branded sleeves with the rose pattern on the back. And they're just absolutely gorgeous. We've got some more of the room banners, all sorts of different markers and tokens. I can get this thing to cut open or fall open. Felt like flimsy plastic, but didn't want to tear. Yeah, some sort of counter dials going on there. I believe these may replace the little roses in the base of your figure. That's possible. I think that's what those were designed for. The little tiny roses were really fiddly in the base game. There's very, very, very tiny roses you put into the base, and were almost impossible to use. So I have a feeling that's what these little dials are for. Probably 2-part dials. They'll track how many roses you should have for each of your figures. And then we've got, well, another set of rim tiles. When this is all said and done, this game is going to be massive. Again, they're all double layer. They seem to have held together pretty well. Yeah, I don't see any obvious flaws or issues. And I'm sure each of these slots in this insert has a use. Again, I'm just hoping everything fits in once I've sleeved it. That's my current worry here. These appear to be player aids, room effects, in several different languages. And finally they're in English, just to tell you what all the rooms do. Alright, so that takes care of the Inferno box. Clear that off to make some space. And we'll see what's in the next one. That's a very, very large box. Everything well packed in the shipping crate, though nothing seems to have been damaged. Even with my less than gentle postal carriers in the area. Most of them aren't too bad. There's a few just brutal on packages. So let's see what is in the Sator box. I'm sure this little back spot here will give us a little clue as to what's in there. 73 new miniatures, a solo mode, 17 new mages, 13 new rooms, 27 new invocations, 11 new schools of magic. That's going to be a lot of cards, a campaign mode, and mages expansions, which is 67 tokens, 6 mage sheets, and 24 mages with asymmetrical skills. So this is going to be a very large collection. A little damage to a box corner, but I'm sure that's not a big deal. This is not a really supposed to be a storage box, I don't think. Still like to see if I can get this. There we go. This box is heavy. That would be a player board, a whole stack of player boards. I recognize those. Each player having varying amounts of health, as well as unique art, otherwise very similar. These may all have the same amount of health. But I believe in the base game, players had different amounts of health. Yeah, these all have the same number of health slots across the top. But your player board's different colors. Instructions for your Sator box. Descriptions of your new schools. Solo play, campaign. Plenty of stuff going on there. A promo card for their other game, Nova Atis. I did not back that one. I've only got so much money. I'm assuming that's part of that there. Here we have a bunch of mages. These are basically your players. I cut myself on that box. I thought I felt a little paper cut. I don't want to bleed on my new cards here. Some of these I recognize from the base. I think these top few are cards from the base game converted to the new format. Alright. Again, I think this is all part of the Nova Atis. Otherwise, we've got a whole bunch more tokens. Again, some dials in there. We'll see what else we may have hidden in this particular package. There's a couple of punch boards in here. Let's see, on this punch board, a bunch of mage tokens. Again, something to track roses. This is all labeled Jukas, so I'm assuming that's Nova Atis. And a bunch of punch boards, a bunch of tokens here, as well as your destroyed room tokens, your room banners here and here. But to the fun part, all the minis, or not so minis. We'll start with the big ones this time. Get them out of the way. Let's switch the view on this. Be a little easier to zoom in, get focus. I'm not sure exactly what he is, but he's big and scary looking. Big, large hammer. Again, really well sculpted. I'm not seeing major mold lines on him anywhere. It's nice to see a textured base, something beyond just plain plastic, which will make him just a little easier to paint. I know some people like plain bases, so they can base them how they want to, but this is always nice. Then you can see this is what I was talking about with the where the roses go. There's little holes in the bottom of a lot of these, and the little peg roses, which are just a pain in the rear end to use and track. Then there's this guy. Large figures always have glue gaps, and you can see there may be a few in here. He may need some gap filling, but really what little he does need is not bad at all. There's just a little bit of gapping going on, but not bad. Not bad at all. I have seen far, far worse. But again, no major mold lines, no major defects that are jumping out at me. I may find more later. But I'm not seeing any release issues. So just maybe a few glue gaps right up by the arms on this guy. But even those aren't bad. Most of them seem like they may even be slightly intentional. So if you're a painter, you'll love to paint this guy. He'll be a ton of fun. All right, let's see what else we got in there. There are several trays of figures in here. I'm not sure if these are for these are probably for those little dials, hold the dials together. We've got a nice crown here. Straight out of Sorcerer's Apprentice. Speaking of sorcerers, we've got several. Come back to focus. There we go. I'm just going to grab a sampling of these. I'm not going to get all of them. There's so many in here. I don't think we could ever get all of them. Oh, that is slick. Because he has no body or an invisible body. You can see his hands and even his legs there. And his bent leg with the boot up high, sitting on the staff. That is an absolutely stunning figure. Maybe a little more traditional Sorcerer's Apprentice type. First evidence of some mold lines I've seen in any of these, but not bad. Quick sanding will take that down. There we go. Try to keep this in focus here. It's very difficult to keep these things in focus, but grab a couple more at random. There's a fun little guy with some horns there. Alright. I believe all the gray plastic is more enemy style here. High detail on these. Lots of nooks and crannies to paint. She appears to have 1 foot raised. Some sort of golem-like creature. Be fun just to put a little wash on that even. And we'll grab one of these small guys from up here in the corner. Appears to be some sort of dancing axe or dancing blades. Alright, let's see what else we have. Check a different tray. There's just so much content in these boxes. Oh wow. Once again, you see on for scale my hand in there. Very large figures. You see, you really have to like plastic to want to bother with this one. If you're anti-plastic, this game will not be for you. I believe all the cream colored were mages or player characters. A little bending on the axe here possibly. Looks like that should be a little straighter. But you know, some evidence of a mold line on the hammer here. But I'm having to get pretty nitpicky to find too much wrong with these. All right. And this bottom, I believe, oh, there's more miniatures on the bottom still. Excuse me. Cards about the schools of magic. That's what these were to tell you what's in each school. Another whole stack of room tiles. Several of these stacks of room tiles now. Nice little treasure chests. Let's see if we can. There we go. Let's focus this in. May even be some sort of mimic. Oh, there. That was a mimic chest versus this one being a standard chest, or at least unopened. Again, I'll grab a sampling of the figures. We got this big guy here. Some mold lines popping up in some of these now. And some sort of large chaos knight looking thing. Something you probably didn't want or wouldn't want to run into in some sort of adventure mode is my guess. And he comes in an alternate sculpt, very similar looking guy. Just another sculpt of this one appears to be chained up or escaping chains. And then lots and lots of cards are going to be needed for that School of Magic. You've got 14 new Schools of Magic. You can have a ton of cards for them. You get a bunch of these smaller Euros. I'm really not sure. Okay, there's some box space here for when you sleeve these up. So that's a plus. I don't know if you can see it in the insert. But there's some box space down here in the corner that appears to be unused. So again, designers need to take note that a lot of players do really prefer to sleeve cards, especially in a game with a large investment like this one, really to help protect that investment. So designers need to make sure they accommodate all those sleeves. Okay, well, I think that's finally everything that was in the box here, at least a sampling of everything in the box. So if you liked it, don't forget to subscribe. I'll have more for you soon. Thanks for seeing what's in the box.